Hello, Happy New Year, and welcome to the first LinkedIn Live this year from Earn, Learn, Thrive. And with me today, I have Clare Hayward, and I'm going to ask Clare to introduce herself in a minute. But we're going to be talking about Clare's journey since she did my group program back in 2020, unbelievably, and how she has found the transition into running her own business and what she's up to at the moment. So Clare, tell us a bit about yourself then and your background.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for the invite. So I'm Clare Hayward and I run Hayward ELT training, which focuses on using Canva in the classroom or for your business. And I support teachers and practitioners in our sector using Canva, either through webinars or short courses. And my other work is teacher training with Trinity on the CERT and the DIP that keeps me busy and keeps me on my toes. So I mainly freelance now. I'm associated with a couple of charities in the sector, but yeah, mainly sort of freelance on my own schedule, boss free, which I love. And that's all sort of come about after doing your program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so tell us a little bit, Clare, if you would, about where you were when you decided to do the group program nearly 4 years ago now, isn't
No,
it?
the time just flies, right? So I had unfortunately lost my job, which was a permanent job helping university students. So I was at a little bit of a wobble with regards to that. And I had been following you through Facebook and other ways. I think I was getting your newsletter. And so that really led to a bit of a spark of inspiration because I had been working in teaching and training for a number of years. And I'd always wanted to be freelance, independent, but it is taking a bit of a leap.
Mm-hmm.
But when I saw that you were looking for people to join the program, it really resonated with me. I thought this could be the chance. And okay, it wasn't a great start to 2020, but what can I do to make things a bit better and learn and kind of take that leap, as it were. So that's how it started, really. And typical sort of cliche, haven't looked back since sort of thing. But it has been a few years, but I've built on different aspects of what I do and things. So that's really what led me to the program, was feeling a bit at a crossroads and deep down wanting to be an independent freelancer and discover more of what I could do to support other ELT teachers and trainers.
Yes, no, I mean, I think this is something that obviously 2020 was a particularly difficult time for most people with the pandemic, etc. But I think there has been since then a huge move towards people running their own business rather than necessarily being employed.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great thing because within ELT, I speak to so many people all the time who have this knowledge, experience, expertise, skills, but they don't know kind of quite what to do with it all or how to market it, or quite often they don't necessarily have the full confidence that they can do that, and so they go to employers and don't always have the best experience,
Yeah.
and don't have the same kind of control or flexibility that you have when you run your own business. And
Yeah.
it sounds like well, I mean, I already know because I work with you, but in your case, you have like a sort of combination of working as a freelancer for other institutions
Yeah.
and also your own thing,
Yeah.
which is all the Canva stuff, and
Yeah.
why your name's the Canva Queen. And I think this is quite fascinating because you're a teacher trainer, a long-term teacher trainer, and I bet you never thought that this is kind of what you would become known for, if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
It just kind of
It
popped up, didn't it?
it did. And I know that you were there when the idea sort of came to me, as it were, that my network was quite wide through conferences and being in a couple of different institutions within the UK. And then joining your program kind of helped me to make the leap to thinking about being freelance. And then I'd been using Canva for about 2 to 3 years already through the university work that I'd done with students. So I was quite experienced with Canva anyway. And then through our network, off the back of the program really, and the alumni from the program of yours, Rachel, I'd met other freelancers that had started to use Canva, but not maybe as much as I had. And so in conversations, I was saying things like, well, Canva can do that for you. Have you looked at Canva? Because I'm sure you can try that, you know. And it felt like Canva had a lot of solutions for us in business, you know, for freelancers. When I looked into it a bit more, there's a lot there for teachers. So it was a really good platform to suggest to quite a few of us within the network. And then, of course, ultimately, I was at a conference and meeting people. Oh, you're the Canva Queen. And this is how the name came about. I actually put together my first course and delivered that. So I was getting some lovely feedback from the participants of how useful they had found it. And then the conference, and then this sort of Canva Queen name stuck, which is really nice, because I recognize that people are seeing what I do and seeing the value of using Canva as well. So it all sort of came together, and that was spring 2021. So after doing your program, you know, it was a bit later on that I sort of found my niche, which you often refer to, and that's where it sort of, all sort of started, which was fantastic.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you know, sometimes people know, my experience is sometimes people know immediately what it is they want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they think they do, and then they find something else. But once you've got those skills and you know how to kind of package something up and how to market it, you can apply it at any point.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think it's exciting the way that you can use your teacher training skills,
Yeah.
you know, to teach something else, if you like, that to teachers that perhaps isn't the most obvious thing, but that is actually super useful for them.
Yeah. That's been a bit of a learning, because when you've been teaching a long time, you know how to work with beginners or advanced levels. And then when you're thinking about a different subject, i.e. a design tool, then you have to sort of swap things around a bit, which has been a bit of a learning for me since my first course. And now it's changed a bit, you know, to what I actually deliver now. But that is the something that I really like to have, that you're learning something yourself. You know, I don't like to stay still for too long. So
yeah, no, that's great. So let's go back then to so there you were sort of in 2020, and I know that you did actually at one point go back into a salaried job, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then kind of left again. So how do you think things have changed for you in terms of your approach to work and using your skills and experience?
I think it's very different. And even since doing your course, even before that, I was always wanting or feeling the need to be in a paid role. So that's what I've always done in Scotland, where I live. And I've always commuted to the cities and things to get sort of decent, stable jobs. But more recently, I've changed to sort of more project work. And that's been actually, although it sounds a bit scary, it feels more me, that I'm picking and choosing what I would like to do and who I'd like to work with. And that's invaluable. And also choosing my schedule as well. So it's not always full-time work. It can fit in better with my family's commitments and things. So there are definitely some advantages. It's taken time to do that. That wasn't instant. And I'm sure a lot of other people that are in the same boat probably feel the same. It wasn't a leap to freelancing initially. It was more of dipping my toe in and doing it gradually, because we all have bills to pay and things like that. So, you know, it's not been an overnight change, but actually I'm quite a cautious person anyway. So it suited me to do that. And I initially saved up some money first to have a bit of like a reserve, you know, just in case. And that's I feel that it suits the way I sort of do things. And that's been a really good thing to do. That's something I would suggest to anybody that's considering this. But the freedom is invaluable of what you do, how you do it, who you're working with. So,
yeah, that kind of flexibility and having more control, if you like, over your own destiny, I think is a big draw for me anyway, with having my own business, and I think for many other people. So what do you think then have been your biggest learnings? So either when you did the group program with me or since, you know, because we've worked together since then as an alumni and on other projects.
During the program, I was taking a lot in that you were providing, especially the practical elements. That's the sort of the way I think, you know, and I was looking at designing and branding and niche and website and pulling things together. I've been a manager in a couple of different schools, so I've got a fairly good business head. So I wanted to sort of apply all of those things. And that was great. Some of the things I lacked at times was the mindset. And I think that is important, of thinking about the things that you went through with us, of changing our mindset. And that's a bit about confidence. It's a bit about that whole money question, the troll that sits on your shoulder. You know, so all of those things were there for me. I probably could have worked on those a bit more, but they came eventually. So those sort of things were a bit slower for me. So my learnings are about, and we've just sort of said about sort of adapting or evolving things, that our first idea is not, it might not be the final idea. It's a bit like when you're a student and your first draft of your essay is not your final essay that you submit. It's that kind of thing that, you know, we do maybe sometimes need to step back and have a think about it. This week I was thinking about, I take the dogs out for walks more at the moment, and that's a good thinking time. So something just stepping back away from the computer. I think we're all kind of familiar with that. Sometimes helps to think about things from maybe another angle. So the first idea I had during your program was not the idea that I settled on. And then once you have an idea, that could broaden or it could diversify slightly. So there's things like that. That's been a big learning, not to get fixated on that one idea, I suppose.
Try things out and kind of see what works, and then do more of that.
And with the Canva, my courses have been small numbers, and somebody else might feel that that's, I don't know, maybe not enough. But for me, that's been good because I'm testing it a little bit still. You know, I didn't want a big explosion of numbers and huge amount of participants, for example. It was more about helping small numbers, but to get where they want with using Canva. This year, I'm trying a few other things as well, which I'm sure we'll come on to. But so I suppose, that's been the biggest learning, is that you can evolve a bit, and that's fine.
Actually, and I think, you know, both those things you mention are very sort of familiar in a way to me. You know, I think the mindset, I mean, I call myself a business and mindset coach, and I do think people don't always quite know what that means, or they think that it's about, you know, rah, must be positive about everything, you know, no bad vibes here kind of thing. And it's not that at all. It's much more about, as you mentioned, like, you know, confidence. I think a lot of people who've worked in ELT for a long time are a bit ground down, to be honest. You know, they've not necessarily been given that much positive feedback or, you know, whatever. And they don't necessarily realize the capacity and capability that they have, and all of the things that they've done and can do. So it is kind of helping people to see that more clearly as much as anything. And then I think, you know, also what you were saying about the changing and developing, for me, that's one of the beauties of it, is that you can have, you know, have ideas. It's exciting. You can try things out and, you know, reiterate
Yeah.
and improve. And most teachers like learning.
Yeah.
And this is a whole load of learning in a
Yeah.
in an exciting kind of way, you know, that has
Yeah.
an impact. So tell us a little bit more then, Claire, about your, you know, what you offer in terms of Canva training, and you know, why is that helpful for teachers?
I think so. What I've been offering for the last couple of years is a 6-hour online Canva course. All the sort of intricacies of Canva and how it can help us ELT teachers or freelancers. So in teaching, how you can use different templates in Canva for presenting, maybe flipped classroom, for example, is a big one. How we can use templates in sharing links so that we can share it with participants in the class, for example, with our students. And then perhaps if you're a freelancer or you want to use it to promote your business, of course, there's a huge number of templates for social media, Facebook, Instagram, Reels, you know. I tend to use, I've got a couple of free Canva accounts and then I've got a pro account as well. But during my training, I don't ask people to buy into the pro account because I think the free accounts have got loads in there already. But with both types of accounts, Canva has got a huge amount of, a huge stock library, whether that's still images or videos as well. So all of that, you know, comes together to make, be able to create a lot of effective templates for teaching or business. I offer this 6-hour online course, but this year I've started a different webinar each month for people that can't commit to a 6-hour course. There's a 90-minute webinar, which this week we're doing simple website design and branding. Canva can really help with those so that you can explore how you want to promote your business and how you want to do that visually through the templates that you can make in Canva. They could be static or moving images and things. So plenty that we can have a look at. That's happening this Friday. It's an online webinar.
And where would people go to sign up for that?
Have a look at my socials. So LinkedIn, I've been promoting it this week. I've also sent it out to my mailing list as well this week as a reminder, because I'm actually working on a new look website. So it's not on my website at the moment. So my social media accounts are where you'll find details on Friday's webinar. And then next week, I've started a monthly free webinar for people that are new to Canva, people that have taken my Canva courses, or anybody else within ELT that might want to just celebrate Canva. And we'll have discussions and have a look at templates and different links and designs that people have done recently or have found that work. So it's a bit of either an introduction or a feedback and look back at what you have done, for example. So they're just free, just as a kind of a way to meet other people that use it, meet other teachers that use it, but celebrate how we can use it. And that was next Friday at the same time, 5 o'clock. And again, the details are on my social media. And at the end of this month, I've got my first course for this year, my first 6 hours. That's over 2 Saturdays. So I'm calling it my Canva sandwich. I tend to do the sessions with a break of a few days in between so that participants can use a bit of Canva during the week and then come back to their next session with some feedback and ideas and things to share. So that's happening on the 20th and the 27th of January, 2 Saturdays in a row in the afternoon UK time. So perhaps globally other people can join from the other side of the world.
Particularly Latin America.
Yeah. And then I've got some more plans for February and March. At the moment, I am designing my new website. And through that, I am looking at having a self-study option for Canva. with some live sessions added in. But I think sometimes it's quite hard to commit to a synchronous course just due to our busy schedules. So it's quite useful if you can self-study and do that in your own time, and then attend some of the synchronous sessions with me around it. So that's the sort of plan for this year. So a couple of things to be getting on with, keeping me on my toes.
Yeah, no, that's very exciting. So do check if you're interested in learning more about Canva. And honestly, you know, whether you're employed or self-employed, there's an awful lot you can use it for, isn't there?
Yeah.
But for marketing, it's fantastic. And it
Yeah.
can save you so much time. I mean, admittedly, you can also spend hours going down rabbit holes and doing things on Canva because there's so much. But once you kind of have things set up and you have your templates and what have you, it really can save you a lot of time, I would say, which is a key, you know, point in doing it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So check out Claire's profile for details of that. And, you know, I mean, we've known each other now then for, well, 3.5 years, a bit more, since you first did my group program back in 2020. So, you know, what would you say to anyone who was thinking about doing the group program? I've got one starting, well, it's pretty much full now, but starting on the 23rd of January, but I will be taking on another cohort towards the end of March. So anyone who's thinking about that, what would you say to them?
Well, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to learn and perhaps apply, not immediately, but in your own time, all the things that you go through, Rachel. You're consistently supportive and so good at getting back to us with ideas and responses. And if you're not sure of the answer, you'll always go and find it out and come back to us, you know, to answer our questions. So I really liked the program because it was quite a easy to follow sort of framework that was logical as well from start to finish over the number of weeks that we attended. I think that framework is fantastic so that we can find out and learn step by step rather, and it's in a logical sequence so that you know, for example, finding your niche, you know, is quite near the beginning, and then going from there onwards to how you set yourself up. And as I said before, not only the practical side of things, which appeals to me in particular because that's the way I sort of think, but also, of course, followed up with a mindset thinking and addressing things, like I said, about confidence or imposter syndrome and other things that sometimes might prevent us from taking those steps or perhaps even a leap into that sort of freelancing world. For a lot of us, we do feel comfortable in working with an organization already. And so it is quite scary to step away from that. But when you know that that's something you really, really want to follow, your guidance is invaluable. As I say, it's that structured framework and then your quick and your sort of quick and logical answers and responses. You always come back with something that's really, really helpful. For me, that's priceless. You know, when you're starting a program, that there's so much to it, you know, to go freelance and to have, you know, somebody that's going to help you to make those steps is just fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Claire. That's really nice. I mean, I think, you know, I come from a teacher training background as well, you know, as a CELTA and Delta tutor. And I think that does inform what I do to quite a degree, because I'm not just like, here's all the information. I'm really thinking about, you know, what's the order, what builds on what, you know, and how can I support you at each stage, if you like. But, you know, I previous to doing this, I was writing ELT materials. And the real thing that I missed was that kind of direct contact and impact, you know. So I absolutely, you know, I have to stop myself sometimes from doing stuff because I just really enjoy, you know, helping people develop and seeing what they do. And it's been brilliant, you know, seeing you develop your business and become a confident freelancer,
Thank you.
and see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
I can absolutely recommend the work that you do. I've seen some of your training on Canva within the collective, my membership, and you can't be in better hands. Anybody like Marianne who's sort of saying they're a complete Canva newbie, Claire's got your back, right?
Yeah.
And she'll help you with it. Okay, well, let's wrap that up there. And thank you very much, Claire, for coming and talking to us. And thank you to everybody watching, and
Yes,
enjoy the
thanks
rest of your day.
everybody. Yeah, thank you.